Instead of softening its approach after the downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, it appears Russia is upping the ante. Reports indicate Moscow is now intervening more directly in the Ukrainian conflict after a passenger plane was shot down over the country's east, killing 298 people. According to the Washington Post, U.S. officials say Russia has moved some 15,000 troops to the border and is preparing to arm rebel fighters in Ukraine with even more powerful rocket systems.
U.S. says Russian forces are now firing artillery barrages at Ukraine's military from inside Russia, a half dozen times in the past 2 weeks.
Russia firmly denied that it was escalating its involvement in the conflict. The U.S. claims a Russian-provided surface-to-air missile downed Flight 17 and said Moscow bears the responsibility if separatist fighters in Ukraine did indeed bring down the plane. The New York Times explains American officials, quote, hoped the shock of the episode would prompt the Kremlin to rethink its approach, but they are increasingly convinced that it is not. Russia, for its part, has accused the U.S. and its European allies of conducting a, quote, smear campaign against its role in the plane crash. The Russian Foreign Ministry released this statement claiming, quote, Washington shares the responsibility for the bloodshed in full and accuses U.S. officials of chopping a big basket of anti-Russian cliches and trying to superimpose them on the international community. A BBC correspondent stationed in Russia says there is a sense in the country that they've been victims of recent events.
For the broader public here, there is, of course, sympathy for those who were killed in the crash, in the downing of the plane. But I think politically speaking, there's a sense of defiance.
State-controlled Russian media has absolved Russia of responsibility for the crash. Pointing the finger at Ukraine, Russian media mirrors the ongoing blame game between the Kremlin and Western leaders. President Obama has called for a ceasefire until an investigation of the crash site is completed. So far, that has not materialized, and it is unclear if an international investigation will be done at all. American officials believe the latest escalation by Russia could be the result of rebels losing territory to Ukrainian forces. For Newsy, I'm Elizabeth Hagedorn. Multiple sources, a broader view.